Hello, guys, and welcome to the Zerotobro podcast. I am your host, Melvin, and I am very excited to be here. I want to say thank you to everyone that's watching us across different platforms. I know I talk to you guys on YouTube, and I talk to a lot of you guys on TikTok. I am very excited overall. Thank you. I like where this channel is going. I like the things that are happening so far. We're still a very little tiny baby, right? If you want to call it that. Like, our channel is definitely growing, and but yeah, guys, all those quotes and all that stuff, that's me. Those are my thoughts that are out there, and I'm the one that's sharing that stuff there. So thank you guys for everyone that has liked and subscribed. We're doing very well. I was just looking here on TikTok, and on TikTok we're almost at 600 subscribers, man. We're like about 15 subscribers short of being at 15, and we literally started like about a month ago, if not less. So for you guys to like and subscribe and comment and talk to me in this short time, this makes me feel excited. I'm super excited to be here, super thrilled, very fortunate in a way too, because I get to talk to a lot of you guys, and you guys get, I read everything that you guys send me. I would say the only thing that I did miss were a couple of comments that for some reason TikTok puts on it said folded comments or something. Like, if it's very similar to what other people are writing, they'll put it as they'll hide it pretty much from me, and I literally got to go scroll to the bottom and click on those. But that's fine. That's the only thing that I missed. But everything else, I've been responding to you guys. I read your stories. I read your situations. And man, like, I feel for you guys. A lot of this stuff I've gone through myself. Some stuff I haven't, man. And I thought, that I had it, that I was one of the ones that had it worse and whatnot. And when I read some of you guys' story, I'm like, wow, like, man, two things come to my mind. One, you guys are some super tough SOBs, if you know what I'm saying. Like, it gets crazy sometimes, man. And the other one that I think of often too is there are some very cruel people out there. Very cruel, heartless, selfish people out there. And that kind of goes on what we're going to be talking about today. But there are some very cruel and selfish, heartless women out there, man. Women, I'm going to say it, man. And I don't hate women. I have daughters. I have sisters. I do not hate women. But in this situation, it is bananas, dude. It is mind-blowing. I'm trying to watch my words so that I don't get blocked or censored or whatever. But man, it is crazy, man. It is crazy. And I am grateful. I'm very fortunate to be able to be in this position where I can talk to you guys. And guys, I know it's hard sometimes to open up to people and talk about what's going on, but I'm here, man. If you need a brother, and I literally type it on there, if you need a brother to talk to, a brother that can listen, sometimes we just need to vent. Sometimes the world gets crazy and we just need a friend or something. I was very fortunate that when I went through my heartache, my situation where I lost everything, and it feels like I lost it all overnight almost. I had a strong support group. I had a strong group of guys that were able to listen to me, because I was going nuts, bro. I remember, I'll make the stipulations. I'm like, in my mind, this and this and this is going on. And then because I'm putting the facts together, and then I'm like, no, there's no way that she's doing all of this. And then as I I was talking to my friend, to the co-host, to Lewis. He's like a brother to me, man, and I was telling him what's going on, and I'm like I remember, I'll say it, and in my mind I had kind of previously justified it, but something about talking out loud and saying it out loud where you can hear yourself what you're saying. You're like, wait a minute, no, this doesn't make sense. And then so sometimes you need a brother. Sometimes you need to say the words out of your brain, let them out and process and listen to your own wording, and that can help you, navigate the situations a little better. But yeah, man, I'm definitely here. If you guys want to message me through there. Also, definitely we have the email address as well. I would like to get a phone line where I can talk to you guys. It's gonna take me a minute. Because I know it's kind of like a simple setup that we have here, but we have invested a lot of money into this setup here, and I just can't until the channel grows a little more. And I'm not asking for your money. All I need is just your subscribe, your likes, your comment. That helps the channel grow, and that'll get us monetized. Once the channel becomes monetized, and I'm definitely gonna reinvest a lot back into the channel, because I have a vision of where I want this channel to be, man. I see us in a studio, like a, you know, like a nice professional studio. Nothing crazy, nothing like, I'm not gonna be a bougie type person, but something where I can be more comfortable and talk to you guys, do that. Because right now I'm in like what feels like a 3x3 bubble right now, literally. You know what I'm saying? And I want to do that. I want to get the other studio that we were using at Lewis's house. I want to, you know, give him his personal space, because he's been very, you know, he has helped the channel a lot with that too. And I want to give him his personal space, to him and his wife, that have been very helpful and understanding in the creation of this channel. A lot has gone on behind the scenes, guys. And then, as we progress, we'll talk about it more. But a lot has gone on to get this channel to where it's at. It started in my apartment. From my apartment, you know, once we vacated that, I had to like bring it over to Lewis's house. Lewis has been, you know, he's their co-host, and he has been very helpful and giving me ideas on how to set up the studio and stuff. And then I got like a small temporary studio that I'm working out of here, but we're going to work. We're going to make this happen, because the most important thing is the message, right? And the message is here, and now we're putting it on here, and we're going to talk about this, guys. So earlier I mentioned a lot of heartless, cruel, selfish people, right? A lot of cruel, heartless, selfish women, right? And that's kind of what I want to talk about. This subject for today is, a lot of us have been in relationships where, you know, we're with someone that we love and we give our heart to, and we give our everything to, you know, and someone that we'll give our lives for. You know, I've literally been there. I've had someone that, you know, I would literally have, you know, sacrificed myself for her, and I sacrificed myself for her in different ways. And there's different reasons, and that's part of the problem too. Sometimes we, you know, we love too hard, and we put people on pedestals, and, you know, the attraction fails, right? For that and other reasons as well, you know, which we can discuss on different, later on, in different different videos, not channel videos. But yeah, but if we love someone and we really dedicate ourselves to them, and we're faithful to them, we're not cheating and all this stuff, why is it that when they fall out of love, they just don't leave, right? They don't want to be with you anymore. Why don't they just leave? Instead, they go out and have affairs and cheat, and, you know, maybe bring STDs into relationships, or, you know, they'll cause so much damage. You know, let's just be honest. They'll cause so much damage with their actions, with their selfish actions. And they don't care. That's the thing. They don't care, you know. And I've analyzed this heavily, by the way. Once you go through situations like this, and maybe you guys can relate, you tend to analyze this like a black box of a plane that crashed, you know. Like, you dissect the crap out of this stuff. And I remember going through it, man, and just like, it would have hurted a lot less if she would have just left. If she would have just left, yeah, we have kids in common and all this stuff and this and that, but it would have hurt it a million times less than for me to find out how I found out, for me to read what I read, because I had to read like a lot of. When I caught her dead to rights. It wasn't like maybe, no. I caught her dead to rights. I printed out all the evidence. I remember taking so many pictures of everything and printed it out. And when I confronted her with undeniable evidence, you know. And but what I'm trying to go to, guys, without deviating too much, why don't they just leave? All right, why do they hurt us in the way that they do? And it comes down to a part of female nature, man. And it's something that I have heard in the past. I have heard it been discussed in certain channels and stuff, but it's something that I definitely identify myself prior to that. And it's something called, you know, I believe it's called monkey branching. Monkey branching is the term for it. And it's like, they don't just get out of a relationship, end it, and move on to another one. No. Like, they don't just cut it off, stay single, meet the guy, da da da. No, 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 no. It comes down to security. It comes down to stabilization. It comes down to your resources, your time, money. It comes down to a lot of stuff. But at the end, it's all selfish reasons. It's all selfish reasons why they do this. They act from a point. They don't just end it with you stay single, find the next guy. No, they find the next guy while they're with you. They find the next guy while you're providing for them. They find the next guy while you're paying for those bills. They find the next guy while you're maintaining their household, while you're helping them out, while you're watching her kids if they have kids. Because I went through that, bro. They use the crap out of us, bro. And that leads us to hurting like crazy, because it did for me. Because I'm like, but they do that because they operate from, they protect themselves. Absolutely, they protect themselves. They'll build some type of like, I don't want to, let's call it a nest egg or something, right? They protect themselves. They make a little collection of resources and then they move on. They don't just leave and leave themselves exposed. No, and they don't care what happens to you, by the way. They don't care how you feel in the process of all this. They don't care that some of us self-delete. I have seen men that have gone through heartbreak, literally known of people in my earlier youth, maybe about 6 years ago, that have self-deleted from this stuff, from going through this, from finding that their wife has been in an affair, or a girlfriend, or a kid's baby mama, whatever they were, had an affair on them, and they just don't know how to handle this thing. And it sucks, man. And I hope that, with the creation of this channel and others, social media people, we can prevent this, that we can be there, because maybe we can lend a hand on how to handle these type of situations, because some people just don't know how to handle it, right? So when they leave, they went ahead, they use you in the meantime to stay, to for their safety, their security, whatever. They use what you provided for them. They collect their, maybe they'll save some money, or they'll do whatever. And then when you least expect it, maybe you caught on, like I caught on. But if you don't catch on, they'll just go, man, and blindside the crap out of us. Sometimes we catch on because they're very sneaky, man. I'll say that. When they do this stuff, they're very sneaky. But eventually, I like to believe that all truth comes to the light, like all truth comes to the light. And it's hard, I would say, and it's not in women's nature to be, as much as they want to believe, to be promiscuous and be having sex with multiple guys. Like, they really, they don't enjoy that. A guy will go out and bang as many chicks as he wants or whatever. For women, because women make a emotional and mental connection with this guy, like a spiritual bond almost, if you want to, with the guy that they're. So when you're doing this with multiple guys, it starts to mess with them. And then eventually they start to favor one side more than the other. And why did this happen? A whole bunch of stuff. Why do they leave and have the affair and all this stuff? It's a lot of stuff. I went into like the rabbit hole when I went through it, and I started doing the psychology behind it. I actually had a counselor that I was going to, that she was amazing. She helped me understand so much. And I remember I presented her all those pictures that I took, everything. So I'm like, look, I want you to understand, what is it that I went through? What is it that I saw? What is it that I read? And this is all the evidence. And we had a session that was just that. It was just presenting all the stuff to, so she can have an idea of how to like properly help me. And she did. She was amazing. She helped me get through a lot of stuff. But so why did this stuff happen? Why do the women have the affair? Have the, it's not a single reason. I'll say that. There are ways to identify this stuff, but it's not just a single reason. It's not just one thing. For example, one of the biggest things that I can say is, does she have a good relationship with her father? That's a huge one. Does she respect her father? if her father wasn't there for whatever reason, is there a father figure, maybe a stepdad that she met when she was younger and was there, helped her out and guided her? Was there that that father figure in her life that gave her guidance and gave her love and gave her attention and gave her all this stuff? That's a huge one. That's a huge one, and we overlook that a lot. A lot of us come from broken homes. I came from one of those too, where we don't have the mom and dad in the house. We have a mom and a stepdad and a mom, or vice versa. And it's not the same. But so yeah, broken homes. That's huge. That's a huge one. You know, what sometimes trauma can also lead to infidelities. I would say I'll be honest, and I'll blame men too, man. Sometimes we just stop taking care of ourselves. I'll admit that I did that too, to an extent. Like maybe we gain too much weight, or we don't look the best like we used to all the time, or maybe like stay trimmed. Trim your stuff. My haircut right now is kind of a shitty one because I was on a budget. But get yourself a nice haircut. Get yourself your hygiene. Make sure your hygiene's on point, man. A lot of this stuff matters. Because there's always gonna be a guy that's after your girl. That's just reality, man. And if you get too weak in too many areas, you just make it easy for this stuff to happen. Now, the woman should have some self-respect towards you, respect towards herself, towards you, towards your relationship, towards the marriage, towards what your family, the home, everything. They should. But let's be honest, man, this stuff doesn't always happen, right? This is not a Disney movie. This is not a rom-com. This is real life. This is real life, and real life comes with real life situations. So, so that's one of them too. I would say once you start building families, sometimes we forget the importance of the date nights. That's a huge one. I personally believe date night is a huge one. It helps you guys stay connected. Prior to you guys having kids, you guys fell in love together. You fell in love with her. She fell in love with you. You guys probably went out on dates and little trips here and there. And then when you guys start having kids and the children and stuff, it's a lot. It's a lot. The children I love my children. I don't regret them at all. I have being a dad is one of the best things that have ever happened to me. I've said this in my quotes before. My children have saved my life without them even knowing. You know what I'm saying? They have absolutely saved my life. But you gotta have a balance, man. You gotta and for men, guys, we struggle through this because it feels like the whole world is on our shoulders all the time. I don't know about you guys, but that's how I feel all the time. Like, I got so much on my shoulders. I got so much on my mind. I got so much to do. And sure, ladies, you guys have your stuff too, but everything falls on my shoulders. Everything falls on my shoulders. And it's hard, man, to sometimes be like, you tend to push things further out, and maybe I could do this later. You focus on the kids, you focus on the house, you focus on the cars, you focus on maybe whatever it is you're focusing on. Guys, all I gotta say is, excuse me, don't forget that part, man. The date nights, the connection between you guys, you gotta keep that romance alive. So I'll be honest, sometimes we fail in that. You guys absolutely got to do your part with that too. So those are some of the things that I've identified. I'm sure that there's a million more, and I'm just, I got a lot right now going on, and I can't think of all of them as much as I want to do it the right way with you guys. But yeah, absolutely. It comes down to traumas, having the parental figures, the strong dad figure, that strong bond with the dad, or a parental figure like maybe a stepdad or an uncle or something like that. It comes down to us. We got to keep the romance alive. Don't forget the date nights. Don't forget to give her attention as well. She's still a human being. I'm not saying be like a super. I'm not supposed to say that word. Silent SIMP. I'm not. You don't be one of those guys either, because that just shuts her off. But yeah, absolutely, take care of yourself. Don't neglect your looks. Don't neglect your hygiene. The hygiene's a huge one too, guys. We can go into hygiene another day. That's a whole nother episode in itself. You can't stink, man. You can't stink. You can't have the bad breath. You can't, you gotta shower, man. You gotta like do a lot of stuff, man. The hygiene is important. Like if you don't have hygiene, how do you expect her to be like romantically into you? Hot. You don't want to get hot and heavy, steamy, whatever, with someone that has bad hygiene. Like guys, I this is a page to help men. I'm not gonna like lie to you and tell you like no, that doesn't matter. No, 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 and just blame women. No, I want to identify the problem so that we can fix it, so that we can get to where we got to get to. Let's just be honest. And like on that too, the physical appearance. I'll also add, staying in shape. Right now, this for me is unacceptable. And I'm always trying to manage it, but I can do a better job for sure. And that's part of my 2026 goals. I definitely want to do a better job of that part too, because it matters. One, you look, you don't look the best. Two, it's a liability, not just for her, but for you, for your family. If your health is not on in check, it's definitely a liability that you're putting, because you can get sick, you can get diabetes, you can get the high blood pressure, stroke, heart attack, whatever. It's definitely unacceptable. Another reason for that is that, when it gets to getting hot and heavy and steamy and you perform better when you're in shape than when you're out of shape. You know what I'm saying? So I'll admit that. And let's go ahead and we're gonna wrap this up. We'll leave this here. This video has gone longer than what I wanted it to go, but absolutely, I hope this has helped. And this whole video is about the monkey branching technique and why is it that they do what they do, and identifying what that is. Overall, I don't care what anybody says. I don't justify cheating, I don't justify infidelities. If they were unhappy, they could have voiced their opinion or whatever. It doesn't always happen, but, it does. Let me know what's going on, or let you know what's going on, and we could have gone to therapy, or we could have done a lot of stuff. It could always be saved until another man enters her. Once another man enters your wife, or that woman or whatever, it's done, man. It's done. At that point, the ship is sunk. It's gone. It's gone. We can say, because, we can say, oh, but we can fix this, or, oh, we can try to get through this, or, oh, that monkey will always be on the back of your head. You ain't going to let that go. It's not, if you're a man that can get through that, I'm not going to judge you, man. I respect you, because all I know is just that I can't do it. Like, once certain things happen, or like once that trust is gone, once I catch all the lies and all the deceitfulness and all the manipulations, I'm gone. That's it. At that point, when I did try to save it for a while, it gets up to the point where it's just so mentally, psychologically draining all the time. I'm like, all right, I'm done. That's it. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Eventually enough is enough. There is a straw that breaks the camel's back. Absolutely. Guys, if you have watched it to the end, help the channel, man. All I ask is for a subscribe or a follow, like, comment if you've gone through something like this. What did you do to help you get through this? Like, what helped? For me, it was having a strong group of brothers. I have my brother, I have my dad, I have my best friend. I had two close friends, one going through the same thing, but overall, I could say those four guys were my rock. They were they had my back during this. My dad, my brother, my best friend, Louis, and my close friend, which I'm not going to name. They were amazing in helping me get through this stuff. And my other friend, I'm just not gonna name him to give him privacy because I don't want to expose his business. That's it. But yeah, absolutely, that helped me. Counseling helped me. Make creating space, which it's a lot easier said than done when you share children in common. But that absolutely helped me. That was for about a year and a half. I lived in Texas, and that was a big part of that. I had to just create that space. I couldn't, I had to cut the access. I couldn't, it just, in my situation, that worked out better. It may not work out for everybody, but that worked out better for me. And yeah, man, those are things that help me. But anyways, guys, like I said, if you found this stuff helpful, like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys. A lot more stuff coming up in the channel. Just bear with us, but we're gonna push through this, guys, and we're gonna get you guys the value and the content that you guys deserve. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for choosing the Zero to Bro podcast, and until then, peace out, guys.